We live in a world that equates financial success with intelligence. We assume the rich must be brilliant and those struggling must have made foolish mistakes, or worse, lack the mental capacity to manage their affairs. This is perhaps the most damaging and pervasive myth in our collective understanding of money. The truth is far more nuanced and far more hopeful. Ignorance, not intelligence, keeps people broke. Financial struggles are most often a symptom of a lack of awareness and understanding, not a lack of raw cognitive power. A brilliant engineer, a gifted artist, or a savvy entrepreneur can all find themselves living paycheck to paycheck, not because they are stupid, but because they were never taught or never took the time to learn the fundamental behaviors that govern financial well-being. This is the crucial starting point to absolve yourself of the shame of not knowing and to embrace the power of learning. Your financial past is not a life sentence, it is a starting point. This revelation leads us to the core principle that underpins all lasting financial success. Financial behavior and mindset matter infinitely more than education or income. We see evidence of this all around us. The story of the high-earning doctor drowning in debt is a cliche for a reason. Conversely, we have the profound real-world example of Ronald Read, a janitor and gas station attendant from Vermont. Ronald was not a Wall Street tycoon. He did not have an MBA or a six-figure salary. He lived a modest life, wore flannel shirts, and drove a secondhand car. Yet, when he passed away, he left a fortune of nearly $8 million to his local library and hospital. His secret? He saved small amounts consistently for decades and invested them patiently in blue-chip stocks. He mastered the behaviors, not complex formulas. He possessed the mindset, long-term thinking, immense patience, and a profound ability to manage his expectations and live comfortably below his means. His story is not an anomaly. It is a beacon, proving that the path to wealth is accessible to anyone who can cultivate the right habits. The most critical of these habits is the non-negotiable treatment of savings. Most people save what is left over after spending. This is backwards, and it is why so many people save so little. The paradigm shift that changes everything is to treat savings as a mandatory expense. You would not skip paying your rent because you saw a nice pair of shoes. Your savings should command the same level of urgency and obligation. The most effective way to enforce this is through automation. Set up an automatic transfer that moves money from your checking account to your savings or investment account the very day you get paid, before you even see the money, before you have a chance to mentally allocate it to a new gadget or a fancy dinner. It is gone, working for your future self. This single behavior, automating your financial future, does more to build financial independence and security than any stock tip or get-rich-quick scheme ever could. To understand why we so often fail to save, we must examine our motivations for spending. At its core, money is either used as a tool for a better life or a yardstick for status. Take a moment to analyze your last few purchases. That grocery delivery that saved you 2 hours on a busy weeknight? That's a tool for a better life, buying you time and reducing stress. That reliable car that gets you safely to work? A tool. Now, consider the luxury watch, the designer handbag worn only on special occasions, or the car upgrade you couldn't truly afford. More often than not, these purchases fall into the second bucket. They are tools for impressing others, usually strangers. This is a futile pursuit. The strangers you are trying to impress are not paying attention. They are too busy worrying about what you think of them. This status-driven spending is a black hole for financial resources, consuming dollars that could have been building your independence, all for a fleeting and illusory social reward. This trap of comparison has been weaponized in the modern age. Comparison and social media worsen financial dissatisfaction to a degree previous generations never encountered. Our ancestors compared themselves to their neighbors and the families in their town. Today, we compare our behind-the-scenes reality to the curated highlight reels of thousands of people across the globe. Instagram and TikTok expose us to a relentless stream of luxury vacations, perfect homes, and seemingly flawless lives. This constant exposure artificially inflates our expectations of what a normal life should look like and fuels a corrosive sense of envy. It makes contentment, the very foundation of financial happiness, incredibly difficult to achieve. You cannot feel satisfied with your reliable, paid-off Honda Civic when your feed is filled with Teslas and Porsches. The game is rigged, and the only way to win is to stop playing. This brings us to the most powerful financial concept you can ever internalize. Contentment is the true definition of happiness in finances. Happiness does not come from the absolute amount of money you have in your bank account. It comes from the gap between what you have and what you want. If you have $50,000 in savings but desire a $100,000 car, you are miserable. If you have $10,000 and are perfectly happy with your $5,000 used car, you are financially happy. The key to sustainable wealth, therefore, is not just to acquire more, but to master your desires. It is to narrow the gap by managing your expectations. This is not a call for a life of austerity, and deprivation. It is a call for a life of conscious choice, of spending aggressively on the things you truly value and cutting mercilessly on the things you don't, which are often the things you only thought you wanted because someone else had them. The engine that transforms this disciplined, contented behavior into tangible wealth is a force so powerful that Albert Einstein reportedly called it the eighth wonder of the world: compound interest. This is the mechanism by which your money starts to earn money, and then that new money earns money of its own. It is a snowball rolling downhill, gathering mass slowly at first, then with unstoppable momentum. The story of Warren Buffett is the ultimate testament to this, and while he is brilliant, 99% of his net worth was earned after his 60th birthday. His fortune was not built on a few clever trades. It was built through decades of patient, disciplined investing, allowing compound interest to work its magic over a time scale that most of us find boring. This is the ultimate secret. Long-term investing is the key to wealth building. The relentless pursuit of short-term gains, the attempt to time the market, and the chase after the latest hot stock are all distractions. They are specks of dust compared to the glacial, unstoppable power of steady, disciplined investing over decades. This entire journey is not about becoming rich. The very word is loaded with cultural baggage, images of private jets and sprawling mansions. A far more meaningful and attainable goal is independence, not richness, is the true goal of money. Wealth is not about displaying your purchasing power. It's about increasing your life choices. It's the ability to walk away from a job you hate. It's the security to handle a medical emergency without falling into debt. It's the freedom to take a month off to care for a newborn child or an aging parent. This is true wealth. The historical example of the Vanderbilt family is a cautionary tale. Cornelius Vanderbilt, the founder, was one of the richest men in history, yet within 2 generations, his heirs were famous for their lavish, empty lives, riddled with scandal and misery. They had all the material possessions one could imagine, but no purpose, no control, and no independence. Contrast this with someone like Anderson Cooper, who inherited very little from his mother, Gloria Vanderbilt. He built his own career and his own life, and by all accounts lives with a sense of purpose and autonomy that the later Vanderbilts lost. His wealth is in his independence. The beautiful, empowering conclusion from all of this is that most people can improve their financial situation regardless of starting point. You do not need a windfall. You do not need a 6-figure salary. You need to start. Start with 1% of your income. Start with $5 a week. The amount is almost irrelevant. The habit is everything. The act of consistently saving a small amount and patiently investing it over time creates a trajectory of improvement. It might be slow, it will require patience, but the direction is what matters. Every single dollar you save is a soldier in your army, fighting for your future freedom. Cultivating the right mindset requires the daily practice of 2 essential habits: gratitude and managing expectations. These are not just fluffy self-help concepts. They are practical financial tools. Actively appreciating what you have, a roof over your head, food on the table, your health, recalibrates your brain away from scarcity and toward abundance. It directly counteracts the goalpost moving trap, where you achieve a financial milestone only to immediately set a new, higher one, ensuring you are in a perpetual state of not enough. Managing expectations is about being realistic. It's understanding that market returns are not linear, that financial progress is lumpy, and that life will have setbacks. This mental shift prevents the dissatisfaction that leads to impulsive, risky financial decisions. From all these core points, we can distill a set of key conclusions and actionable advice, key conclusions and actionable path forward. You can get good with money by mastering simple behaviors. The formula is not a secret. It is about saving consistently, living below your means, investing patiently in low-cost index funds, and controlling your emotional reactions to market swings and societal pressure. This is accessible to everyone, regardless of their IQ or educational background. The biggest financial mistake is chasing status and comparing to others. This behavior is a financial and psychological dead end. It leads to endless dissatisfaction, encourages keeping up with the Joneses, and fuels risky financial decisions, like taking on excessive debt, all without making you any happier. The solution is to stop comparing your Chapter 3 to someone else's Chapter 20. Focus on your own script. Financial independence is a spectrum, not an all or nothing state. You do not wake up one day financially independent. Every dollar you save, every debt you pay off, increases your control over your future and reduces your vulnerability to life's uncertainties. The first $1,000 in your emergency fund provides a tangible sense of security. The first $10,000 opens up more options. This is a journey of increasing freedom, one step at a time. Contentment is more powerful than accumulating more money. Redefining your personal success as contentment with what you have leads to a deeper, more sustainable, and more accessible form of financial happiness. It is the art of wanting what you already have. Long-term investing with discipline beats trying to outsmart markets. Embrace the simplicity of patience and consistency. Investing in a low-cost, broad market index fund is a humble admission that you cannot predict the future, but you can participate in the long-term growth of the global economy. This boring strategy is, for the vast majority of people, infinitely more effective than seeking quick wins or deploying complex trading strategies. It's never too late to change your financial story. Whether you are 25 or 55, the same principles apply. Start with empathy for your past self and awareness for your present situation. Forgive your past mistakes and use them as learning experiences. Then, begin. Start small, build the savings muscle. The time will pass anyway. In 10 years, you will be grateful you started today. Money's greatest value is the independence and freedom it provides. Continually ask yourself, does this purchase, add this debt, bring me closer to freedom or further away? Use this question as a compass for your financial decisions. True wealth is the psychological peace and practical freedom that comes from knowing you are the author of your own life. Automating savings and monitoring finances daily build awareness and control. Automate your savings to make the right behavior effortless. Then check your bank and investment accounts regularly. Not to induce anxiety, but to build awareness. This daily or weekly habit connects you to your money. You see where it goes, you celebrate your savings growth, and you catch small problems before they become catastrophes. Awareness is the foundation upon which all other financial changes are built. Managing expectations and practicing gratitude require effort but yield profound benefits. Make it a ritual. Each day, write down one thing you are grateful for. Before a major purchase, consciously evaluate the expectation behind it. Are you buying this for you or for an imagined audience? These mental shifts are a form of exercise for your financial psyche, and they build resilience against the forces of consumerism and comparison. Financial advice should focus on what makes you feel independent and content, not what impresses others. Reject generic advice. Your goal is not to have the same portfolio as a billionaire or the same car as your colleague. Your goal is to build a life that feels safe, free, and meaningful to you. This personal definition of success is the only one that leads to healthier financial decisions and a better quality of life. In the end, the entire complex world of personal finance can be distilled into a few timeless principles. Stop comparing. Use money as a tool for your own contentment and independence, not as a scorecard for others to judge. Practice patience in your investing and in your life's journey. And finally, understand that happiness will always be the gap between your expectations and your reality. Manage both wisely, and you will have discovered the true quiet art of wealth.